I feel like love is something that's internal. Money is just something that's temporary.
But that has been answered already. How many relationships break up because of the money is not there any longer?
I do have 2 kids. Is that something?
Are you cool with taking super honest feedback on this one?
Okay.
It's very difficult for me sometimes to figure out if a girl is actually romantically interested in me or if they just want to be my friend. When she picks Rocky, I'm just bummed,
Have you ever been in a relationship where it starts off great, there's hope there, but the more you spend time with them, the more you realise that your goals aren't the same. What you want and what they want don't quite align. Well, that's exactly what's happening for some of the cast in Hunt for Love right now. So let's kick things off with Colt, Usman and Cortney. Now, we joined the 3 of them at a workshop about compatibility, and that seems like a very applicable topic right now. This might be exactly what Cortney needs to figure out whether she prefers Usman or Colt.
It's about having to figure out what your preferences are and then see who matches with you, who you think right now you're most compatible with.
Hold on, after their fight last episode, how is it that Usman and Colt are sat right next to each other? Did they willingly choose to sit next to each other, or did production neatly arrange them in the middle like that? You've got to imagine it must be quite awkward for them, but maybe it's strategic. Maybe this will give Cortney the ability to compare their answers a lot more easily. Answers to what, you might ask? Well, the whole purpose of this exercise is to find out more about each of them by asking some uncomfortable questions.
What do you prefer? Sex a couple times a week or sex a couple times a day?
It's a good question. I mean, it's valid, isn't it? You need to make sure that you're compatible in all areas of your relationship. But it does quickly become apparent from their answers that maybe they're not quite as aligned as they might think. You see, while Cortney says she likes it daily, Colt says that he likes it hourly, and Usman replies by saying he likes it weekly. Now, this seems to set alarm bells ringing for Cortney. She can immediately sense that that's not quite what she was expecting. Perhaps, she says, that's because Usman is used to women in their 60s. But while neither of their answers, neither Colt nor Usman's preferences quite align with hers, she does, for the time being at least, she does lean more towards Usman than Colt.
If I had to choose, I'd rather be with a man I have to beg for instead of a man I'm annoyed with because he's humping my leg every hour, every day.
Yeah, neither answer is ideal, but I do get what Cortney's saying. Let's not forget, we have seen in the past how Colt's high sex drive can create issues. Now look, more power to him if that's what he likes, right? Good for him. But at the same time, the problems start when your partner can't keep up, and then that leads to you cheating. I mean, that's precisely what we've seen from him in the past. That's precisely why this compatibility exercise is a good idea. Heck, perhaps there's even another conversation that needs to be had here about how he can work on that, how he can figure out how to control that hourly urge he feels. Either way, for the next question, they're asked whether or not they want kids, and all of them respond by saying they do. Good, check. At least they're all compatible on that front. But next up is a question that could change everything.
What would matter more to you in your partner? Would you pick someone that values money or values love?
Now, I don't know about you, but there's no real shock in learning that both Cortney and Usman agree that money is more important than love. Says a lot about both their characters, and that's not judgment, that's good. I mean, it's good that they're both aligned on that. Cortney goes on to explain. She says that financial issues can destroy loving relationships, which is true. And as for Usman, well, he's just overjoyed that him and Cortney are in alignment. But Colt is a bit shocked. He's taken aback by her answer. And once again, the tension and competition between Usman and Colt starts to bubble over.
I feel like love is something that's internal. Money is just something that's temporary.
But that has been answered already. How many relationships break up because of the money is not there any longer?
Now look, I get it. Colt at the moment is broke. Even if he wanted to, he wouldn't have the money to spend on her. He's just got a divorce, he lives on a farm with his uncle, and to him, money just isn't that important. Love is a lot more important, he says. But it does also raise another point. I mean, even though on the face of it, Cortney and Usman's answers might seem compatible, How exactly would it work in reality? These are two people who seem to want their partners to financially look after them. Just look at Usman's track record. I mean, there's a reason why he goes for 60-year-old ladies. There's a reason why the happiest we've literally ever seen him is when he received gifts from Kim. But by the same token, Cortney has also joked, she's literally laughed about the fact that she wants to find someone to pay her bills. So how would the reality of that work with them both wanting that as a couple? Surely common sense would dictate, surely the unwritten rule is that there can only be one gold digger per relationship. But unfortunately, this whole exchange has left Colt feeling rather deflated.
Your love language is money, and I don't have a lot of money. I feel like right now I lost again.
Now, while this realisation is a major disappointment for Colt, as it turns out, he isn't the only one set for disappointment this episode. Tiffany has it coming her way too. But, ironically, when we first join her, she's actually feeling good. She's feeling hopeful. Oh, poor Tiffany. That isn't going to remain that way for long. You see, Tiffany is about to go on her second date with Carlo, but she's nervous. Why? Well, the pair are off to a clay bath, but being in a swimsuit makes Tiffany feel self-conscious.
I feel a little naked. I feel a little bit insecure, even though now I've lost over 100 pounds. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, beautiful means super skinny.
Tiffany says that she doesn't feel beautiful, right? It doesn't matter how much weight she's lost. When I look at myself, I see imperfections, she says. Problems with my boobs, my arms, my skin, or 1,000,001 other things. But while she might think that, I think we can all agree Tiffany is beautiful. Look at her, she's stunning. It's sad, it's genuinely sad that she's focusing on the flaws when everyone has flaws. Hopefully she can realise that. Hopefully she can build up her self-confidence. Now, as far as the date goes, well, it is pretty intimate as the pair rub clay on each other. And both of them are really enjoying themselves.
Yes, okay. I can be all right with this.
Is that how low you're gonna go? I went lower on you, I feel like.
Things are beginning to heat up nicely. They're getting very up close and personal. Now, the problem is, if Tiffany doesn't just want this retreat to be a game, like some people are treating it, then they really do need to also get to know each other. I mean, they need to actually talk. But, unfortunately, that whole side of things, the talking, isn't quite gonna go as Tiffany might want it to. You see, when the topic of why they're both here arises, like, what are you looking for from this retreat? Tiffany tells Carlo that while she's looking for a best friend, now would be a good time to tell you something I've kept hidden up until now.
I do want to tell you I have been married in the past. I've been married once. I do have 2 kids.
Oh no, while Carlo might not say anything, just look at his face. No words needed. I mean, this clearly isn't good news for him. I mean, he seemed alright up until a point. He seemed alright when she said that she was married, but the second she mentioned her kids, his face just went blank, almost as if he's trying to hide his emotions. Like, that really isn't a good sign.
Is that something?
Are you cool with taking like super honest like feedback on this one?
Okay.
You just know, don't you? When someone starts a sentence like that, you just know it's not good news. Now, thankfully, it is honest feedback, right? Thankfully, as so often is the case, it doesn't descend into him being rude. Carlo's careful and considered with his words, right? But he does say to her, I've never dated someone with kids before because in my mind, I always just expected that I'd meet someone and we'd start a family of our own. Now, I get it, everyone has their preferences and I'd much rather that he's honest about it. After all, taking on someone else's kids, treating them as your own, is a very big responsibility. It's not for everyone. But at the same time, Carlo does need to be a bit more realistic. He's hardly a spring chicken himself. He's 38 years old. Any woman in that age range is going to come with a history, be that kids or not, marriage or not. The point is, if he rules out women with kids, well, he might just rule out the one.
That's kind of a little disappointing because I'm like, he seemed like such a cool guy. This is such a disappointment.
Now, while Carlo still says he wants to explore things with Tiffany, he still thinks she's great. He wants to see where things might go. For Tiffany, this seems like a deal breaker. I mean, you can completely understand why she's left feeling super disappointed. One thing no one can doubt about Tiffany is just how important her kids are for her. If that's a problem for a potential romantic partner, well, that's it. It's dead in its tracks. Now, while that may as well mark the end for Carlo, that doesn't mean that all hope is lost. Don't forget, Tiffany also had a connection with Rocky, aka Pornstash. Now, we'll come back to him shortly, but there is one other person at this resort who's also making realizations and being left disappointed, and that is Tim. Now, over the last episode or two, Tim and Elise seem to be building a friendship, or is it something more? Well, the perfect time to explore that is when they're playing their games, and Tim happens to be on Elise's team. What games are they playing? Well, they need to pop a balloon without using their hands, and Elise has some ideas for how they might be able to do that.
I think you just hip thrust me as hard as you can and just get it by
If I
eye.
could hold the balloon, it would work, but I'm just concerned we're not gonna have enough room. That's all you're gonna get.
What on earth, right? Tell me, someone please, what on earth is wrong with Tim? He's got a beautiful lady asking him to basically dry hump her, and yet his reaction is to roll his eyes and act as if a dentist has just said that they want to rip out all of his teeth. He couldn't be less enthusiastic if he tried. Just shut up and get on with it, Tim. Thank your lucky stars that a woman like that is even interested in you.
Honestly, her personality is kind of hot. So let the games begin. I mean, if this is what we're doing, sign me up.
There you go, that's more like it. I can't believe my eyes. Oh, is that actually a genuine smile on his face? Against all odds, Tim actually joins in. He does the hip thrust that a minute ago he had such a problem with. And lo and behold, would you believe it? He actually has fun. Tim having fun. I know, rare sight indeed.
Being this close with Elise is kind of making me realize that, I'm kind of starting to warm up to her and her ways and charms a little bit. She's fun. She's a beautiful girl.
Now, after all of Elise's craziness with Rob, right, this potential hookup with Tim really isn't one that I saw coming. Is there something there? Is this real? Well, Tim might hope it is, but Elise might have other ideas. You see, for the tiebreaker round, when asked to choose someone to kiss, Elise's choice isn't Tim, but rather Tessa. And while that's mostly them just goofing around, right, they don't take it anywhere nearly as serious as Jennifer and Chantel do. What is very telling is at the end of the games, after being asked to choose someone to go on a champagne date with, Elise's choice, well, it's not Tim.
Rocky, you want to go on a date? Let's go.
Now, as it turns out, it's not just Tim who's upset by this. Take a look at Tiffany's face. She's not happy either. You see, Rocky is the other guy that Tiffany liked, Pornstash. And given how things just went with Carlo, Tiffany was hoping to spend more time with Rocky herself. She may now end up, depending on how their date goes, she may now end up having to battle Elise for his attention. And that, for her, is another unwelcome blow. Now, going back to Tim, he's also left disappointed by this. He can't quite understand what just happened.
It's very difficult for me sometimes to figure out if a girl is actually romantically interested in me or if they just want to be my friend. When she picks Rocky, I'm just bummed,
Tim, my man, look, if you really like Elise, right, she isn't a mind reader. You need to be a little bit more positive. You need to take steps to show her that you like her. Moaning about playing a game, albeit you did eventually take part, isn't exactly the most endearing way of acting. So let's just take stock of where that leaves us. We've got Colt, Tiffany and Tim who are left feeling deflated. We've got Cortney and Usman who seem more motivated by money than love. You've got Carlo who's freaked out by Tiffany's kids. And now there's also Tim who may have just blown his chances. He may end up now being friend-zoned. So can any of these guys overcome the obstacles on their hunt for love? I'm not sure.